Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I'm here again today with my friend, Dr. Arlene Taylor. We're continuing our series on hydration. And we're talking a little bit today about the quality of your thinking if you're not drinking. So we've talked about the importance of hydration to the brain. And Dr. Arlene, I've heard you talk about, and I've read in your articles, you liken the brain, it's kind of our body's hydroelectric plant. So could you focus a little bit on that? And the thinking, drinking connection, how important water is to cognitive processes, and just talk to us about that.
Well, fortunately, I'm well hydrated.
Of course.
So that the brain is always thinking, as you know, although we're not always aware of it. But when you're dehydrated, you are not thinking clearly and effectively. So to remind everybody, in the brain, there's usually more water inside brain cells than outside.
Right.
And when you're dehydrated, water gets pulled out of those cells, and now you reverse that ratio. There's more water outside than there is inside. So that's not a good thing,
Right.
because water is required for every chemical process that the brain does. And if it doesn't have enough, it's going to interfere with the successful process. So how does the brain create energy? In a hydrated brain and body, the fluid continually moves in and out of the cell. Fluid moves in, carrying nutrients and oxygen and whatever, and it moves out of the cell. Well, that means that this process literally functions analogous to a hydroelectric plant. And it's very efficient. Water is the most beneficial source for energy in the brain. And this is happening all the time, all things being equal. And it creates enough electricity that you literally can power a 20-watt light bulb.
Wow. That's incredible. Just pause, guys. Think about that. Think about your brain's energy is powerful enough to power a 20-watt light bulb. Let that sink in, how incredible, what an incredible organ that is. What an incredible gift we have, that much energy. That's incredible. I never heard that before.
And some people think they're cute and they say, well, a 20-watt light bulb isn't very good. I mean, what could we do with a 20-watt light bulb? Well, you could see in the dark. Hello. So it is all the electricity the energy needs if it's being able to produce it at the level that it wants to produce it.
Right.
So as you begin to get dehydrated, I think we've talked before about the fact that by the time you think you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated.
Right.
So 1% dehydration, 1, and you have no idea you're thirsty.
Right.
You already have a 5% decrease in cognitive ability.
Wow.
So,
go ahead. If a 1% decrease in hydration leads to a 5% decrease, does that multiply if you hit 2? Is that
just 2? Do the math. If your brain's not dehydrated, 2% dehydration, 10% decrease in cognition. I mean, this is the reason so many people struggle on this planet. Right. Because when you do large sample studies, many children and adolescents drink 0 water a day. They drink flavored juices, some fruit juices, not necessarily even with the pulp in it, Cokes, and so on. And no wonder that we are wrinkling,
right,
not only our skin, but it wrinkles the body organs. Remember, the brain shrinks as the levels of hydration fall. So there is now emerging research that dehydration creates free radicals. So I want to mention that some free radicals are good, healthy, and necessary to chemical processes.
Right.
but some are not. For example, when cells divide and multiply, estimates are about 5% of those cells will be incomplete and will actually be free radicals. And so the more dehydration levels you achieve, then the more free radicals are attacking other body cells. That's in itself, I mean, and we control to some degree
Right.
the damage that occurs to us. And we're only learning that with all the research about dehydration.
So as you're talking, I'm thinking about if we're equating the energy in the brain that it could light a light bulb, right? When we're dehydrated, it's like trying to function in a brownout in your house.
It's a pretty dim light bulb, girl.
Yeah, and many appliances in your home need full energy or they turn off. So even if there's a brownout, there's many appliances in your home that won't function with a little energy. It needs all the energy.
Right.
And the same thing you talked about, free radicals that happen when you're really dehydrated, increases free radicals roaming about. Well, you think about, when does crime and criminality happen? It's in the dark. It's not when the lights are full on floodlights. So if we really want to keep our bodies safe, we need to keep the lights on at full power. And we can do that simply by making sure we have good, clean, pure quality water flowing through our system. So that's a great analogy. Thank you.
And even when you're sleeping, the light bulb may not be on metaphorically, but that energy is being used for housekeeping tasks and storing energy as is it ATP for the next day, and
Right.
so on and so forth. So some parts of the brain are even more active when you're sleeping than when you aren't. And so if you don't have this, the light bulb may be turned off, but the electricity is still doing other activities.
Right. I know I think of my brain often as a filing cabinet. And I know at nighttime, my little file assistant comes through and decides, okay, that can go in the trash. This I need filed for long-term memory. This I need filed. And it takes energy for that to happen properly. Or we lose our short-term memory. We wake up and we can't remember what happened yesterday, even though we can remember what happened 20 years ago. So
and eventually what happened 20 years ago can go.
What can go. So we need to give our brains the fuel that it needs, and the fuel it needs is water. So, all right, thank you. That's another segment with Dr. Arlene. Again, make sure you check out drarlenetaylor.org. She has amazing resources of all sorts for brain longevity, the longevity lifestyle. She's got courses and articles and blogs and books. And if you don't take advantage of it, it's like not drinking any water. It's something in your control. So I want to encourage you to go visit her website, visit impactsworld.com, Ion Thrive. We want all of our friends and family to have healthy bodies, healthy brains. You're your best you when your body is functioning as it was intended to. So we just want to remind you that the quality of your thinking is linked to the quality of your drinking.